Hi, I'm going to give a quick overview of how it is you can develop a modern operating system for your organization. And the trick here is we should be building on all sorts of existing structures. So it's almost like my kids' Lego blocks. We've got a bunch of blocks. We just need some instructions on how to assemble them into, in this case, a great operating system. Executive overview, there's basically 5 steps we're going to take you through. One is capturing your strategy, then making sure the departments are aligned. From there, we can write up specific objectives and key results, make sure we understand the cross-functional linkages so we can begin to build useful leadership dashboards and then execute those through great management meetings and practices. So let's step through this in a bit more detail. Step 1 is about drawing a strategy map, capturing your existing strategy and drawing it as a hypothesis, a cause and effect diagram that tells us both what are the objectives and how important they are this quarter. This, of course, will get revisited and refreshed as required, or at least once a quarter. From there, the second step is to make sure your departments are aligned to that strategy. So I'm going to drill into this in a little bit of detail because this is kind of a fun session. What we do is we take that strategy map that we developed in phase 1 and we list those objectives down the left side of a spreadsheet. And across the top, we're going to list your core processes or core departments. And then within that, we'll score the impact of each department on each objective. What's that look like? Well, let's take underwriting this example. We score them from, blank or 1 to 5, where 5 is critical and 1 is sort of minimal impact. So, for example, the team, cross-functional team, scored an impact of 4 out of 5 on underwriting and our ability to be successful at C3, provide innovative products and services. So this cell is just the impact 4 times the weighting, 5%, to give us 20 strategy points. And through conditional formatting, we make that light gray. It's also for impact on I3 Drive to Digital, but at 7%, that equals 28, conditional formatting dark gray. Finally, it's also for on E1 Develop Our People, impact of 4. In this case, weighting of 13 gives us a strategy point of 52, conditional formatting is black. In other words, anywhere we see a black node, that becomes a critical performance node for that department. So in this case, accounts receivable has to be super awesome at customer experience, organizational health, and understand what matters to the customer. But we also know is as we come to write up objectives, because this is where their objectives should be, not on the whites or the light grays. We also have to write objectives anywhere where they're critical of 5, even if it's not black. In other words, this ontology, this organizing framework, ensures that each department is writing up OKRs on where they contribute to the organization. Now, this also allows leadership to look horizontally to figure out what departments need to be involved in any initiative. So if I want to consistently deliver about our brand promise, I better have someone from underwriting, someone from claims. I don't need anyone from these departments, but I do need someone from human capital, channel management, and business development. So this allows us to make sure each department is working correctly, and we know how to work collaboratively as a team to get those corporate objectives. From there, that obviously becomes a template to write up each department's goals or objectives and how we measure what they're doing, what their key results are. And so that process is straightforward. Each team writes up their objectives, what their key results are, and what their targets are, either just for one quarter or projecting for the year. Then what we do is what I call show and tell. Each area presents their OKRs to the rest of the team, and we sort out where they need exceptional support from other departments to be successful. In other words, if they're going to do, let's say, improving the underwriting cycle time, they need support from IT, claims, and probably themselves underwriting. And so this allows us to make sure that the departments are aligned and we've got the resources to help each other. Now it becomes easy. All we now need to do is begin building the management tool, package this. And what that looks like is making this available to everyone. So think of the dashboard of your car. It takes information from different systems, your oil system, your engine system, your gas system, and puts it on one simple dashboard that anyone can understand. So imagine that, creating that dashboard, and whether this dashboard is looking at an objective, a department, a region, a process, a customer, we get a consistent heads-up view of how to interpret what's happening there. That also allows us to aggregate that up. So that strategy map, we now can see that corporate level dashboard. In fact, if we clicked on any one of these objectives, we could drill into their children, grandchildren, and so forth. So we understand that alignment view. And then finally, we're going to package it in a way for other stakeholders to take a look at. So these are people like investors, board of directors, corporate partners, and so forth. Then the final part is like getting your driver's license. How is it we use this in a better reporting process to make sure that everyone has their eyes on this and are looking at it day to day? Now, I'm going to drill into that for a second really quickly. Imagine that there's sort of three types of meetings. These tactical meetings happen every day or every week. Those meetings are basically looking at performance with a little bit of action taking. Vision, once a month, I have this operational meeting where I spend less time on performance and action so we can talk about implications. We're seeing this ongoing customer trend. That goes on every month. At the end of the quarter, we're going to get together and revisit that strategy map. So we're going to make time to talk about strategic issues. Based on that, we might want to fine-tune those objectives or key results. And we go for the next quarter with that new model. And repeat. So this organization now has 4 learning cycles that we used to have only 1. More importantly, if something happens in the middle of a quarter, like COVID or something crazy like that, some geopolitical pressure, we can get together, align our strategy around that new issue, and then move forward quickly. So this becomes this muscle that we've built in the organization. So again, the 5 steps are capture your strategy, align the departments, write up departmental OKRs, package it so it's accessible to everyone, and then use it to manage the business. I hope that was useful to you and gives you a quick heads up on how it is you can quickly translate your existing strategy into action using resources you currently have available.